When other automakers were thinking about creating a sports utility car, engineers at BMW are wondering, why would we call our car a sports utility car? Because the utility part of it was something BMW didn't really agree to. So they called themselves up into a meeting and they're like, so what do we call our utilitarian kind of a car if we don't want to call it a sports utility car? So I presume some guys raised their hands up, hey, and then there's the guy at the back who came back and said, I have an idea. Because we pride ourselves in sheer driving pleasure, why don't we call our car a sports activity car? And everybody's like, yay! That's a dope idea. And that sums up the story of the BMW X5. Welcome to another exciting and beautiful episode of Kanisa. This is going to be a proper service because I'm your Papa Skofu and I have the entire team with me here from Conversation, back to doing what we love most. And today we're featuring one of the most powerful and interesting BMW to drive and own, and that is the BMW M50d. D for diesel. And woo! And powering up this engine is one of the most sought after refined engine from BMW. That is the N57S. The N57 comes with a different variant, I think 3 variants, but this is the most powerful one of them all. It comes as a successor of the M57, which has been the engine that has been put in every Land Rover and sometimes even Toyotas as well. So this comes with a lot of credibility, being the success of the M57. The numbers here is 376 horsepower to 740 Newton meters of torque. But these engines are meant to be tuned and get more numbers. And I will tell you what exactly has been done to this engine to just get it to give out those powerful acceleration numbers. All this power is courtesy of forced induction. BMW made it possible to have 3 turbos on the N57S, and that is where all the magic happens. Paired to this engine is an 8-speed ZF transmission that is called Steptronic, Sport Steptronic ZF automatic transmission, and that is shown by these paddle shifters that I'm having here, just to give you that sporty feel when you want to engage in the manual driving aspect of this car. And the Steptronic automatic gearbox shifts like a charm. I think this is the only gearbox that can give, come on! Okay, let me cool down. This is the only gearbox or transmission that can give the DSG a run for its money. It's proper, it's well refined, it's well built, and it makes you feel that you're driving a sports performance car. And I can't take anything away from BMW for combining the N57S to the 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission, ZF. If you stayed around BMW for long enough, you must have heard of one legendary engine called the M57. Well, the N57 is the successor of the legendary M57, and this came with very nice and refined advantages and disadvantages as well that we want to talk about. So this is the highest performance engine on the diesel lineup on the BMW X5 M50d. It's actually denoted by the code N57S, meaning there is other variants of the N57 that are less powerful than this one. But what I'm looking at is not your standard or normal N57S. This has undergone a bit of tuning. And before I talk about what has been upgraded or tuned to this engine, let me talk about the common problems that you are bound to experience when you own or drive a BMW that runs the N57S. Surprisingly, the list is very short, because from most of the problems that have been posted or complained about on this engine, it comes down to only the emission gadgets, or what we call the emission components that have been installed on this engine. And when I talk about the emission components, I'm talking about the EGR, I'm talking about the DPF, and lastly, I'm talking about the DEF, what commonly is referred to as AdBlue. DEF is basically diesel exhaust fluids, but in other words, you can call it AdBlue. So those are the things that make this engine a bit unreliable. But if you can find your way around those emission components of this engine, then this engine becomes one of the most reliable engine ever built by BMW. In fact, it is joked around that this engine can easily and comfortably get to 500,000 kilometers without a problem. So let's talk about what has actually been done on this engine. So I told you before that this engine comes stock pushing 376 horsepower and 740 Newton meters of torque. Well, this has a stage 1 tune. But before the stage 1 tune, let's talk about the modification that has been done to make this engine reliable and robust. One, the owner of this engine has, of course, deleted the EGR, he has deleted the DPF, and he has also done away with the AdBlue, or what we call the DEF, the diesel exhaust fluids on this engine. So from that point, I understand why he would now decide to go stage 1 tune on this. And stage 1 has pushed this plan that we are looking at right now to 820 Newton meters of torque and 420 horsepower. There are numbers that you can joke around and say, but if you put this plant down on the road, wait and see. This is the F15, the third generation of the BMW X5, and this is an M package, meaning it comes with the dressings and trappings of appearance of an M competition BMW. There's nothing much to talk about the front fascia of this BMW X5 F15, rather than the design looks that it borrows from the F30 BMW 3 Series. All of this is courtesy of the design work by Mark Johnson. So, few things just to give away the M package look is your blackout grille, kidney grills, which make this car look mwah. You have a very nice, simple, but very aggressive bumper again, just to give you that performance aspect with active vents that help you cool what is right behind here. So what you have here is 6-spot Brembo brakes at the front, and they are coming packaged in a 20-wheel double alloy rim from M competition again. At the rear, you still have 20-inch alloys packed into a 4-pot caliper brake system. Perforated disc again, just to give you that performance braking aspect. And they are dressed in Dunlop Sport Max tires for maximum traction and performance during driving and launching as well. And just to complement the exterior look, you also get blacked out side mirrors. Just make this car look very nice. I like cars that are subtle and aggressive to the punch. Flowing rear, the BMW X5 F15 doesn't look much different from a normal BMW X5. It's easy and attractive to the look. It's a car that you like to tailgate. Just look at how it complements the look of this car. Practicality. It comes with an electronic tailgate that it splits. So it means you can lower the base and the top as well, and these can be used for your easy evening chats with mama or your friends, wherever you are. So it gives that practicality and utilitarian look that this car requires. Even though BMW decided this is not a utility car, apparently it's an activity car. So what kind of activity will you be performing here? I don't know. But the boot space, of course, very big, very practical. It makes the work done. Let's talk about what you find in this trunk space that is more practical and convenient. One, they have given you here a first aid compartment where you can keep your first aid things or to use when you are in an accident. It doesn't come with a full spare wheel, so I don't know, that's a bummer to me. But again, the wheels that this car is running, I wouldn't expect a spare wheel. This is a 7-seater configuration, meaning you have 2 extra seats at the third row of seat that are folded down to just give you that humongous or practical space that you need in any practical activity vehicle that has a sports orientation, and that is a BMW X5. Let's talk about what is special about this particular BMW X5 M50. Well, if you haven't watched our other review of the BMW X5, the petrol version comes with the N55 twin scroll turbo, then check the link up here. I hope Mbugua will do his magic this time round. Keeps on forgetting. But what is special about this particular car? One, it comes in what we call a merino leather trim. What you see here is the packet that is called the merino leather trim, and this is called the Amaru brown. So very nice, subtle, good quality leather. Again, bespoke, just like what BMW feels when you drive it. What are the special things that you get from this car away from the 10.25 infotainment screen? Again, the version 5 of the BMW iDrive. Nothing much talk about it. Is a driver-centric car, so you'll find very little interesting things on this particular system, but it makes the work done. And it being an M package, again, you'll be reminded once you sit in the interior of this car by having a small badge on this sport steering wheel that has paddle shifters and electronically controlled. Again, let me just put this car on so you can pull it up and pull it down. There are normal things, easy things that I can't talk about, like memory seats. But one most special thing again about this car, away from this big panoramic sunroof that you get on it, is the sound system. So this comes with the Harman Kardon 16 speakers paired to a 600 watts amplifier. And I can tell you, I don't know what is good. Is it the sound of the engine when you're pushing 820 Newton meters of torque, or the sound of the music system when you're driving this car? Either way, you can choose either. When you're coasting and relaxed, you can do your sound, but when you want this car to be a beast, turn off the music and just feel the car drive. I don't want to waste much time telling you about how this car feels to drive it. Right away, let's go on the road and let me show you the magic of sheer driving pleasure. I can't blame BMW from shying away on using the word utility vehicle on this car, because this is a proper performance car. And talking about performance, let me talk about the few elements that make this car a proper performance car. One is the xDrive all-wheel drive system that is capable of splitting torque to the wheels at grip and limiting the wheels off the grip or in slip, just to give this car the epic handling that this car requires. Number two is the weight. So BMW claims that this car is a monocoque chassis. Okay, it runs, there's body and frame, and then there's a monocoque chassis. So these are monocoque chassis that has less weight compared to the previous generation. They estimate it to be around 90 kgs of, shaved off weight from the previous generation of the BMW X5. And that is courtesy of the ultra tensile steel body frame that was used to create this cabin space that we are sitting on. And then they claim also that the bonnet is made of aluminium, so it has reduced the weight of this car down by around 90 kgs. And 90 kgs in a performance car, trust me, that makes a big of a difference. The other thing that I want to talk about the driving experience of this car, of course, I've already told you about the ZF transmission that just makes this car perform proper good. And to sum up all that, on epic handling of the BMW X5 is of course the M adaptive suspension. Just stiffens and lightens to make this car either a comfortable car to drive or a sports machine that handles like a beast. And talking about handling, this is what this car can do. Right now I'm doing 160 kilometers, 172, 180, and I'm taking corners like a champ. 200. Woo! Look at that braking. 6-port at the front, 4-port at the rear. And those again are just few of the upgrades that the owner of this car has done to this car to make it stop as much as it can accelerate. So I think, with fairness, this is the only car that can give any MG, Mercedes-Benz MG, be it a 63 or a 65, a run for their money. I said it, I'm a Mercedes-Benz diehard, but this is what I'm picking over any Mercedes-Benz any day, anytime. And so the only thing that has remained is to get Mr. Mbugua at the front and then we are going to launch this thing. Welcome to another exciting episode, Mr. Richard Mbugua. How have you been? Where have you been?
It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Jamaa wanazusha man, wanazusha. So, ulisema content back to back.
I'm really excited to be back though.
Yeah, man. It feels good, right?
It feels good.
It feels good.
This feeling, man.
Yeah. It feels good to be back, but it also feels much better to be back with the BMW M50d.
I just want to feel it.
You want to feel it?
I just want to feel it.
So now this one is a beast. So I'm just going to give you a bit of kionjo too, You see that, my friend? so now, you know the work here is never a lot. Okay?
We have draggy.
We have draggy. You have draggy?
Let me take my phone. So I'm here.
So Mr. Mbugua, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You are recording the drag. Na leo weke screen ya drag because the leaderboard. So now I'm going to push this car to Sports Plus. Okay? Electric steering. So it stiffens up when you drive faster, but when you put it in Sports Plus, of course, it prepares. Traction control iko off, Mr. Mbugua. We have the X-Drive all-wheel drive system already engaged and ready. And are you ready to do this, Mr. Mbugua?
We're ready.
Are you ready? Are you holding well?
I don't know if people can see. It's also displaying its own here.
Yes.
Aye.
So now, 420 HP, 820 Newton meters of torque, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, take 2. Yeah. You ready, Mr. Mbugua?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. What happened to the phone?
We already have the numbers.
What happened to your phone?
Ilianguka.
That's how hard the launch was.
Yeah, but you already have the numbers.
You have the numbers?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about 6.3 seconds.
I feel we can do better. I feel we can do better, Mr. Mbugua.
Okay.
Let me just try again, okay? One more time.
Can you do it manually, you see? You hold the...
No, let me do auto and then I'll do manual. Are you ready, Mr. Mbugua?
Okay.
60. 100.
5.97 seconds.
How many again?
5.97 seconds. Verified.
Officially, there is no Mercedes-Benz that has taken this car.
There's no
this
car. This is the first that actually we've hit a 5.
This is the fastest. But I feel we can do more because from the factory, this car is rated at 5.3 seconds.
So,
but this car has been tuned, stage 1. Pushing more numbers. I think we can do better. Is it me who is not? Let me try again.
Alafu ndio utarudi dakika. We still have the same seconds.
How many?
5.97 seconds.
5.97 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. We will call it.
400 meter.
We will call it at that.
Quarter mile. What is he saying? A quarter mile? Okay.
Quarter mile in what?
15 seconds.
15 seconds, quarter mile. Those are good numbers. Good numbers. Okay, now fuel has gone to the gutter. So Mbugua, talk to me. What are your thoughts? And give me your ratings.
I'm going to tell you something that someone has always been telling you.
Yes.
Turbo Diesel.
Yes.
Alex Bonds.
Yes.
Told you to drive a BMW. We're trying to be careful so that you can understand power. And I believe so. He is right. This car, I think the first time we interacted with it, we were like,
yes.
Okay,
this is it.
This is it. Okay. And
800 meter.
the numbers have already said it.
Yes. The numbers have confirmed.
6.
So how many points are you giving it out of 10?
Out of 10,
yes.
I'm giving it a. It's a 9.5.
It's a 9.5.
I can't give it a 10.
Yes.
Because I'm not a big fan of BMW.
Yes.
And also, it's too bulky. You can imagine this engine in maybe a an E46 or something just to return.
No, now I'll tell you that engine also comes in a BMW 5 Series.
Exactly.
It comes in in fact, the F10 and the F4, is it the F1? I think you can get, is it F1 or F11? I think F10, F11. F10, F11, BMW 5 Series.
They have this.
It has this engine. And then there's a 7 Series as well.
Woo.
The F01 7 Series, you'll also get. So I am trying to imagine this engine in those cars. What are you capable to do with it?
This is scary as hell. This is
It's
scary.
I can tell it's scary. So for me as well, I think I'll give it a 9.5. I can tell you for a fact that BMW did not go wrong when they shied away from giving this car the utility name of the sports utility vehicle. This is far away from a sports utility vehicle. This is actually a sports performance activity vehicle. This is a car that drives like a sedan, a performance sedan, yet it is an SUV and bigger. You understand? Like
Way
you
bigger.
take, bro, hii gari unakula nao checkers. You do these things to people and people are like, Prado. Don't mention Prado, bwana. Don't mention Prado in this statement. So of course, as well from me, it's a 9.5. So against 20, the two of us, that will be 19 out of 20.
Hey, that's a nice score.
That's a nice score.
That's a nice
Find a
score.
value for money.
Value for money.
And we wind out this review.
Tuende tumalizie hii review.
Very nice. Enjoy the car, my
60.
brother.
100.
Woo!
Sheer driving pleasure.
Easy. It's any day, anytime, man. Any day, anytime. And that sums up the story of the BMW X5 M50d. To understand how interesting this car is, I'll try to compare it with its competitors. The first one is the GLE diesel 3-liter version, and the other one is the Q7 diesel, again, version of it. And to be honest, for what this car has to offer in terms of the driving dynamics, sheer driving pleasure, this is a car that will take corners like none of those two cars I've mentioned. This is a car that will give you confidence in motion when you're driving it, and at the same time it will do it using proper fuel economy numbers. So value for money. So this car is a 2014 BMW M50d, and it will set you back 5.2 million Kenya shillings. First, outright, straight, it's cheaper than all the competitors mentioned. Number two, imagine we did a review of the GLC 43 and it was going for close to 7.8 million Kenya shillings. This car, 0 to 100 stock, is rated at 5.3. This is the car that will scare most AMG versions of Mercedes-Benz's. So in terms of performance tick, it does perform in a fuel economy package. Again, in terms of styling, we can't argue about it. Mark Johnson was quite stellar in terms of how he laid out the design of this car. So what else are you waiting for? In terms of reliability, I've told you, if you can deal away with the issues around the emission of this car, then this car becomes one of the most reliable BMW you can own and drive on the Kenyan soil today. So from me, I want to be honest, if there's any car that will make me think, again, confirmed, not even think, if there's any car that will make me choose a BMW outright, it will be this particular BMW, the BMW M50d. I've been your host, Ibrahim Toloi, and I've enjoyed being back on these screens. You guys have missed us, and I can tell you now we are back and we are going nowhere. So expect awesome and beautiful content. Again, I don't know, do we do the diesel version of the Mercedes-Benz after this so that we can see just how they compare to each other? I don't know. See you next Sunday for another exciting episode of Kanisa. Bye-bye.
Broken and still feel nothing at all but pain and the chill. Said I'm cold in the water, broken and still feel nothing at all.